AJ.
What?
We never started talking. The episode's starting.
The episode's starting? Wait, hold on. Can it start in like 2 minutes? I forgot what Oreo's competitor was. It was a similar chocolate cookie with cream filling.
Oh my gosh.
Zylox? Ziglox?
That sounds like a cleaner.
Zyrox? That's probably why Oreo survived and this cookie fell to the wayside.
You're thinking a little mass production. Is there a reason for that?
Oh, I just, I look at the factory skylines and I wonder if we haven't thought to step back and consider what we've lost.
Sure. So...
Welcome to Atlas Shrugged, the Avatar, The Last Airbender podcast. I'm AJ.
I'm Kaylee.
And we are...
Snowed in.
Snowed in is the word.
And have been for a few days, so...
So, y'all are the first people we are talking to in like 3 days. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to our home.
It could also be the altitude because this episode we are going all the way up in the skies to the Northern Air Temple.
We're flying, we're soaring. And I have a lot of notes. Because I have a high opinion of this episode. I thought it was very dense. I thought it was
Sorry, your notes on that were perfect, but you inverted the lyrics, so it's soaring flying, but okay.
I was not raised on cable television like so many.
It's High School Musical. Anyway, we're here to talk about Avatar. So, like AJ said, dense episode. We are gonna watch...
This was no ABC Family Affair. This was a Nickelodeon spectaculodian.
There's slime everywhere, and we are gonna watch it live.
There's slime in my hair.
It's slime time, live. Not really. Okay. Long ago.
Can the Fire Nation just stop? Can they just stop?
It's been 100 years. Aang can save the world.
I think he might be able to. I think he could pull it off. Let's see what this episode has in store.
The Northern Air Temple.
Oh my gosh. We're finally here.
So, travelers, number a series of Airwalkers who laugh at gravity and laugh at those bound to the earth by it.
Aren't Airbender stories the best?
They laugh at gravity?
Is that how it was back then? I laugh at gravity all the time. Gravity.
Okay, but other definitions for gravity? Not just a force of nature, but, the gravity of a situation. I think that's what this episode is really about.
Because he laughs at the... Yeah. Okay, he's like a kid laughing at the gravity of stuff. Huh.
Must have been 100 years ago your great-grandpa met them.
What are you prattling about, child?
What are you prattling about?
Hey, we're almost to the Northern Air Temple. This is where they had the championships for Sky Bison Polo. Do you think we'll...
Sky Bison Polo?
You want me to be like you or totally honest?
Are you saying I'm a liar?
I'm saying you're an optimist. Same thing, basically.
Okay.
I love that.
Love that. So, before we actually see him go into the Northern Air Temple, this is the opposite side of the world. So, do you remember, AJ, the last time that you were in an air temple in this book?
Yeah, it was the Southern Air Temple, right?
Yeah, that's where Aang is from.
Uh-huh.
So, we've seen one air temple completely abandoned, right? And what is important about that little story, that as they come into this new region, somebody told by a campfire about the Airwalkers, this is the first time that Aang thinks maybe there's a little bit of hope that there are still airbenders out there.
Here's my question. Is there like some kind of poetic reason that there are fewer people that are able to harness the power of air as opposed to the other elements? Like, why the hierarchy?
So the recent history is that the Fire Nation committed genocide against the Air Nation and that they killed off all of them. So Aang really is the last airbender. He's the only one who can do that.
Okay, that's making sense. Okay.
The gravity.
Why keep it to Aang, though?
Well, they knew that the next avatar was an airbender, but that was 100 years ago. You remember in the very first episode when Katara and Sokka found Aang in Appa in a block of ice?
Yes.
Yes. So they'd been they killed all of the other airbenders, and because Aang was frozen in a block of ice, 100 years went by, and they thought the airbenders were gone. But many.
Oh, okay.
But many were still waiting for his return. So, as we quickly find out, there's a little bit of a debate between what makes an airbender and what makes the spirit of an airbender, and that's where I think maybe we should dive back in.
Okay. Right, because he's trash-talking somebody's airbending ability. Or he's about to trash it. Okay, that...
They really are airbenders. No, they're not.
What do you mean they're not? Those guys are flying.
He's so disappointed.
But not flying. You can tell by the way they move. They're not airbending.
He's so disappointed.
Those guys don't even skate.
But as soon as he says
I don't know, Aang. That kid seemed pretty
Right.
spirited.
they have no spirit, introducing Teo, boy full
Teo
of spirit.
has a spirit, yes. That marimba music is really cool. Do 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 do.
They do a really good job with the music from this point forward. We're on the final disc of our DVD collection of Book 1.
The ultimate disc.
Have you ever been hang gliding?
No! Heck no! I will not do that. No. You can't make me. That's so nerve-wracking. What if there's
More than fancy gliding.
a hole in the hang glider? You know? Ugh. Shudder to think.
You shudder to think.
Uh-huh.
So Aang has to show off that he's a real airbender.
Otherwise, they're gonna give him a hard time just coming in.
Here's a good one.
And doesn't this
That was
Teo's
a polluter.
Teo's smoke trails, doesn't that remind you of when Katara and Aang changed the clouds into
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, with their chemtrails. And then, oh look, he's using this to artistic ends.
Great.
Skirt, skirt.
Hey, you're a real airbender. You must be the Avatar. That's amazing. I've heard stories about you.
Thanks.
Wow, this glider chair is incredible. You'd think this is good. Wait until you see the other stuff my dad designed.
Okay. Yeah, let's pause because we're about to get to some denseness. Like I said in the introduction, this is where things start to get dense and symbolic for me.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of cool stuff about to go down. Not only are we meeting Teo, but we're about to meet Teo's dad. And Teo's dad is like a stand-in for a whole freaking worldview, dude. For a whole freaking philosophy.
A whole mess of a worldview.
And we haven't even seen him yet, and it's already making me like, ugh. Like, I need
Yeah.
to talk about this.
And on top of that, I just want to mention shout out once again to this show for inclusion and diversity.
Absolutely.
And introducing a character like Teo, who, from the instant you meet him, is awesome. He has a wheelchair that can turn into an air glider, and that gives him power, like the moment he enters this show. And Sokka is just like, oh my gosh, I've never seen an invention like this. Like, I love that they are able to bring more people into this universe and show us a little bit about the technology at the time.
Exactly. And what they're doing, it seems like the most advanced technology of all the nations so far, right?
For sure.
Even the Earth nation with their, they have a city, they have a non-nomad societal, structure, but they're not as advanced as these guys.
Right. The Earth King is still a kingdom. Earth Nation is still a kingdom.
Right,
So they
right.
have, like Ba Sing Se, where we met King Boomy, and other such great cities.
Yes.
But yeah, these are, you can always tell the nation they come from by the color of their clothing. So we are to guess that these were people who lived in the Earth Nation. None of them were earthbenders, but we find out we're also refugees. So why don't we...
And the first Airwalker we meet is Teo. Teo looks like he had been paralyzed, right? From the waist down, and now he can't walk, but he can fly.
And we will see that that kind of spirit is very important to these people and to Aang's development in this episode. So why don't we keep going?
It's like a visual cue for the character of their resilience.
Yes.
And maybe that's commenting on air surfers as a whole, or maybe it's not.
Air surfers.
Air
I
surfers.
like this. Okay.
All right, hit play.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When they walk in this,
That ogre has too many eyeballs.
it's all industrialized. There's just like pipes and smoke everywhere.
My God.
Yeah, my dad is the mastermind behind this whole place. Everything's powered by hot air. It even pumps hot air currents outside to give us a lift or gliding.
This place is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
No, just unbelievable. Aang used to come here a long time ago. I think he's a little shocked it's so different.
So better.
Yeah, now it has a Little Caesars and a Great Clips.
Poor Aang.
Supposed to be
I know.
the history of my people.
This is supposed to be the history of my people.
And there's a certain level of ignorance that comes with, like, being resilient and, like, adapting to everything, right?
It's like when progress overtakes
Progress.
ancient places.
Progress. Progress is huge this episode.
It's nice to see at least one part of the temple that isn't ruined.
And now it
Okay.
is.
Literally the wrecking ball.
Right?
It's nice to see one thing that isn't ruined, one part of the temple that looks the same. This is where I go back to the very beginning quote about how they're all going to laugh at gravity. There is a lot of powerful, life-changing ideas going on in this episode, and it just smacks you with humor to get through it.
Right. Right. This theme that they're touching on, where, because they can't bend the air, they can't harness the air. So this thing that they can't harness, like humans. Humans, I'd say the inventions that humans are the most proud of all have to do with defying gravity. You know what I mean? Skyscrapers, I'm going to defy gravity in this way.
Yes.
And we're really proud of ourselves for skyscrapers.
Climb for the skies, baby.
Same thing goes for airplanes, right? We are so proud of ourselves.
So proud of
For making
helicopters.
airplanes. Ooh, and they look like birds. Good job, us.
And Well, yes, I think all of that is true, and we can look at a lot of the other technology that we'll see in this episode.
Right.
But also, Aang's question about the airbender spirit, he has one, but he's the only living person on Earth who still has one. But I think it is testament to what he is feeling and finding it hard to explain throughout this episode. These people who are not airbenders came and found a place to live in an air temple and learn to harness the sky anyway, even though they can't bend it. And I think that speaks to how much spirit the place has, even though the people are gone. Anyway.
Exactly. And the people are kind of like ordained to exist there.
Yes.
You know?
They built it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going, huh?
Okay. Squeeze me. And now it's gone.
What the doodle? Don't you know enough to stay away from construction sites? We have to make room for the bathhouse.
You know what you did? You just destroyed something sacred. Or a stupid bathhouse.
Well, people around here are starting to stink.
This whole place stinks.
Okay.
He just knocked down the trebuchet too.
Flipping over the tables much? Like,
Yes! Can we talk about that?
yes.
Oh my god. This is going to be a long one. Flipping the tables. Much. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Expand on that.
So, Aang is the hero or the savior figure in this story. And I saw that moment and thought about the moment when Jesus flips over the temples. He flips over the tables in the
tables
temple.
at the temple.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, Aang goes in, and not only is he the only airbender there, but he's also has the authority to say what's right in this situation. He does. And but, like, they don't even know who he is yet. He just went in there and was like, oh, whoa.
Just like Christ, he goes full anarchist
Right.
at the air temple.
And, like, yeah, it's, like, a little scary, but way to go, Aang, anyway.
Well, what home has Aang found? He's also kind of angry
Angry, for sure.
because he has been everywhere at this point. He's been to all the major cities. What home has he found?
And everything that is reflective of his actual home and his culture, it has been destroyed
Right.
for so long.
Exactly. All he has are these fragments of dreams and experiences in Bizarro World.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can understand his anger right here, but, like, again, the gravity of this is huge, but I love the way they handle it. Let's keep going, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. I laugh in the face of gravity.
I see it when the monks were here. I know what it's supposed to be like.
The monks? But you're 12.
Dad, he's the Avatar.
Be cool, Dad.
Years ago.
What are you doing? Who said you could be here?
Doing here a long time ago, but not 100 years. My people became refugees after a terrible flood. My infant son, Teo, was badly hurt and lost his mother.
Origin story.
To rebuild, and I stumbled across this place. Couldn't believe it. Everywhere, pictures of flying people, but empty. Nobody home. Then I came across these fan-like contraptions.
Our gliders.
Yes, little light flying machines. They gave me an idea. Build a new life for my son in the air.
He does it all for his son.
Yes.
That's like his rosebud.
And this place saved them.
Of improving upon what's already here.
Right.
After all, isn't that what nature does?
Nature knows where to stop.
I suppose that's true.
Nature knows where to stop.
Progress has a way of...
That's why I brought up Little Caesars earlier.
Progress does have a way of getting away from us.
Yes. Oh, it's
Or ahead
so
of
beautiful.
us.
Do you wanna brood in that for a little bit?
Yeah, I'd say the candle clock is the perfect time to pause.
Right. Because they just soliloquized.
Oops. That moment made me both feel like, wow, they had a lot of information and backstory to pack in a very short amount of time, and what a good job they did with this eccentric character who can just deliver it like that.
With all... Right. The gravity is not at the Northern Air Temple. The gravity is all in his voice. It's
Yes.
like all like... He's like, I have overcome so much.
There was a great flood.
Uh-huh.
His people were on the run, and they stumbled across this place.
Sounds kind of biblical, too.
That was empty.
There was one passage of the of the Bible, where there was a great flood, and people had to make a... what do you call it when you go from one place to another really fast? Apple Maps? No. Egress? No. Exodus. That's what it's called, yeah.
Mass exodus.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that's what they did. And just started living in this temple. And I love how Katara, like, literally pulls her brother's, like, collar and, like, dries her eyes. Like, the story touched her so much.
Right.
So it was a matter of perspective. While the people who took up residence there didn't realize the destruction they were doing to a sacred place, to the Avatar himself. But at least when Aang arrives, he can level with them and he can
Right.
see from their perspective. But now there's an opportunity for Aang to, like, share this with other people.
Well, yeah, because time is of the essence, too.
Absolutely.
So he's thinking about the most expeditious ways to do things. That's why, like, so an Aang from 6 episodes ago would not have assessed what he needed to prove to the town that he was rolling up on while he was still on Appa.
That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So now he's learning to plan ahead and think ahead a
Absolutely.
little bit. And so he's not really running that game. He doesn't have to run that game as much when he lands.
Right. He is getting better at observing who he is coming up on and
Yes.
taking
yes.
on different portions of his avatar persona to handle the situation.
And this portion of his avatar persona, can I say, is a little anti-colonial, a little anarchist, a little Christ-like.
It is.
Yeah. I don't know so much about the Exodus reference.
I would say Great Flood.
Yeah, Great Flood.
And in pursuit. Yeah.
It
yeah.
makes you feel in a biblical
There-
sort of
there-
way.
there-
Uh-huh.
Probably closer stories we could compare it to, but why don't we just keep watching the episode?
Yeah. A capital idea.
You put spark powder in the candle. 4 flashes. So it's exactly 4 hours past midday. Or as I call it, 4-o candle.
This guy is using expendable resources to literally figure out how to do things all himself, and many of his solutions are so impractical.
Yeah.
And that's what we just see with him taking off his little wood fingers and being like, I chopped these off before I got my invention right.
all good folklore and fairy tales need an inventor of some sort.
Yeah.
This inventor reminds me of the one
Yeah.
from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, yeah. The one thing in the Northern Air Temple that hasn't changed?
Temple hasn't changed at all.
The snack bar. No.
The snack bar.
Just the way the monks left it. Always wondered what it was like in there.
Aang, I'm sorry. This is the last part of the temple that's the same as it was. I want it to stay that way.
After anger, Aang is in preservation mode. He wants to protect it because he's not sure he trusts them yet.
Fair.
These lanterns are terrible. I can't see.
He has about equal reasons to trust them and not to trust them.
For light.
Hey, close that up. They'll get loose. Fireflies are a non-flammable.
Kaylee, do you say fireflies or lightning bugs?
Lightning bugs.
Me too.
Is that Midwest? What do you call fireflies / lightning bugs?
Straw poll.
All the way down here to see an empty room.
Wrong. It's filled to the brim with natural gas. Came across it my first time here.
Bet it smells like farts.
I was carrying a torch at the time. Nearly blew myself and the whole place even more sky high.
Exactly. The lengths this guy will go through.
This is the episode where at least I realized, like, we are way further along in, like, an historical timeline than I thought. Like, oh, they have natural gas and they like understand how to use it. I didn't like, oh. And the gliders, you start to see like this is not an ancient time that we're actually
No,
in.
no, this is like the Four Nations equivalent of like the Manhattan Project.
Impossible. Everybody has it.
Spirit.
What?
That's the something you're talking about.
Spirit.
I suppose it is.
Can we pause for an Italian language appreciation segment?
Yes.
Okay. In Italian, the word for spirit is anima.
Anima.
La anima. It's the same root word as animation, so I thought I'd bring it up.
La anima.
Seemed relevant. La anima.
I love that. And spirit happens to be my favorite word. So,
Spirit.
isn't it pretty? Spirit.
Spirit, that word sounds a lot more like what it is.
Yeah. Well, in English.
In English, right?
Right.
Spirit.
Love that.
Anyway.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. This has been your Italian language
So-
appreciation segment.
I want to ask you what your impression of this moment is. So, Aang has bought into, okay, you guys understand how to use the gliders. They're having this conversation about spirit. Katara is about to jump off into the air for the first time. Do you think it's significant that Katara can embrace the power of air? What do you think?
I think it is significant. Like, it feels like she's been working on it for a while, and now she finally feels emboldened to use it. What do you think?
I think that while this was a totally unexpected thing for her, that she has gotten to share her water bending with Aang this whole time and like learn it with him, but this is the first time she's had anything close other than Appa to like being able to understand what it's like to be an airbender.
Okay.
I love Katara anyway.
I love Katara, too.
Let's see her jump.
I think that's valid.
No.
Oh!
I can't believe I'm flying. Just make sure you keep your mouth closed so you don't swallow a bug.
Indeed.
And Aang doesn't correct her when she says she's flying, even though at the very beginning he was like, they're not flying, they're gliding.
He really does have the spirit.
So true.
Cute.
I think he has the hots for her. Something is telling me that.
We know that he does.
Be happy to open the door for me.
Great.
Wait! How do I land this thing? What if I land over...
Okay, but how do you land a hang glider though?
Right.
I said don't touch anything.
Okay, Sokka is screwing up this inventor's office, but tiny model of a war balloon. Did you catch that?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the only model that they're messing with. Just got a bunch of scrolls, mock-ups.
I want to see what's inside.
So they're trying to figure out what smells, and now they're in front of the jazziest security system in the Four Nations, the whoopee cushion door.
That's it.
Something that's so small you can't even see it makes such a big stink.
Okay, Sokka's role in everything is always so understated, but like
Where the gas seeps up.
he learns from everybody. He always picks the inventors and the like crazy people, and then he just picks up skills as he
Here's what
goes.
Sokka does. He's like, he picks one person, and he's like, that's going to be important. I'm going to tail that person.
Yep.
And then just comes through in such a big way. They've gone through the door to the air temple, and all manner of...
Spikes and chains and
Dastardly
Fire Nation
things.
wrath.
This is a nightmare.
You don't understand.
You're making weapons for the Fire Nation.
Yep, you got some splaining to do.
You make weapons for the Fire Nation?
You're a part of the military-industrial complex?
This moment feels so Xenophilius Lovegood in Book 7.
Xenophilia.
Luna Lovegood's father, who calls the ministry
Oh, you're
on
talking
Harry.
about Harry Potter book 7.
Yeah, this moment is like, are you going to call the Fire Nation right now, though?
Right.
I offered my services. You must understand.
I feel like... Can we pause it for a sec?
Absolutely.
I feel like if I was Teo's dad and I had gotten, run down by the Fire Nation in the dead of the night when nobody was around or whatever, I would have started the negotiation a little lower with the Fire Nation in order to spare them. Like, why just pledge making weapons for them first? Why not, offer to house some troops for 40 days or,
I feel like it was
give
that.
them the Burger King coupons that they had lying around the house or something like that.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Though I feel like it wasn't really a choice. It was, you have this skill set, sort of like.
Oh, they had him at... Oh, okay.
You're a scientist, you're an inventor, and we're at war, so...
He wouldn't have had a choice.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think we find out very quickly. It is, we will blow this place up, or you will use your resources and skills to make us weapons.
Also known as global diplomacy in 2022.
Zing! Let's see what happens.
Okay. So when I saw the little war balloon, the first thing I thought of was James and the Giant Peach, because we just watched that last night.
We did just watch
and
that.
And he lets off one of those air balloons with the candle.
If you haven't watched that in adulthood, which is what AJ said to me before we watched it, definitely watch it. It's worth it.
James and the Giant Peach, yes. Literally a Randy Newman musical. What more could you ask for? Who just popped up out of the flow?
Fire Nation.
Is there a problem?
Whoever.
Right this way.
Trade Secretary. Bam!
The deal's off.
The Avatar. Aang, don't get involved. If I don't get what I came
Isn't, to me, when the dude says that, it was like him wanting to protect a child. Like, I don't think
You're leaving empty-handed.
Inventor Dad realizes that the Avatar is in control of the situation.
Absolutely not. And that's what happens whenever adults are siding with Aang. Is that, they just think they have to do so much more than they really do?
Mm-hmm. How can we possibly keep them all away? I'll tell you how. We have something they don't. Air power. We control the sky. That's something the Fire Nation can't do. We can win.
We harness the sky.
Good. We'll need it.
Yay.
We finally got the war balloon working thanks to Sokka.
I knew he would see the light.
Genius.
Thank you. You're a genius.
Sokka is a genius.
He
An
is.
unsung genius.
The problem with the old war balloon was you could get it airborne, but once you did, it just kept going. You could put a hole in the top, but then all the hot air would escape. So the question became, how do you keep a lid on hot air? A lid is actually the answer.
Sokka just casually exudes Newtonian level brilliance,
Actually pretty smart.
and they poop on him. They make fun of him.
Yeah. But Katara's like, oh, that's actually pretty smart.
Right. Never underestimate the power of stink.
This is where things turn so Nickelodeon. Who at Nickelodeon said, where's the slime? We'll get you lots of slime.
Right. Right. They wanted to make a little package of slime that said Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They literally
on it.
say the word slime like 3 or 4 times in 10 minutes.
Some
Okay.
exec just comes in the room while they're recording the episode, and he's like, needs more slime.
Okay. Here's where the gravity gets real.
But gravity isn't real, Kaylee.
What? Anyway. Those of you who have seen the show before know that the next 3 episodes are some of the most intense of the
Oh, yeah.
series.
Oh, yeah.
And that everything in book 1, everything this team has been through is leading up to the North Pole. battle is coming. I think that this episode serves as much needed training in the art of war, which none of these children have had before. So when we've heard about this threat and the firebender just came in and demanded their property and all that stuff, now cut to a bunch of kids and young people on hang gliders, and then what appears to be hundreds and hundreds of firebenders in tanks, steel tanks with grappling hooks, and troops just marching with weaponry.
Fate has just decided, like, listen, we've been giving you a little explainable but kind of unfathomable upper hands, Aang and company. Now it's time to use that old noggin.
And
right?
boy, do they.
They do.
Because that's the truth. The Fire Nation doesn't know how to use the air. So here we go.
It's how they use their air. How they use their stank. Can I just say that the weather at the base of the Northern Air Temple is kind of like the weather we're having right now?
So true. There's like 2 inches of snow on the ground, and it's very
Right.
icy.
Stink bombs.
Slime bombs, here they are. And the war music.
Is so sweet. Oh, that's stinking! Oh my god!
Yep, Aang just causes an avalanche.
Boom. That is some Art of War stuff.
Right?
We've got him on the run. We need more slime.
Say it with me, kids.
We need more slime. Okay, this moment. Grappling hooks go. You see these tanks,
Just
and I
Barreling
realized
up.
we were in the 20th century.
right. Right. But somehow, like, Aang's exposure to this technology has not been in order.
Well, Aang would never have seen any of it, but neither. I mean, Katara and Sokka are from the Southern Water Tribe. They're not.
So it's almost like the adult observer can tell that, like, this is where the conflict in this world is centralized around. Like,
Yes.
everybody's got this stuff. It's holding out for them. Tanks, they got, yeah.
It's showing. This image is just really powerful to me. From the perspective of the firebender shooting out of the tank. That's a person doing that.
Right.
This has some very deep things that I think they presented beautifully for a child audience.
And then it gets slimed.
Gets slimed.
Uh-huh.
Major slimed.
Exactly. I don't choose to destroy.
But this is clearly how far the Fire Nation has gone for progress by force.
Those things are unstoppable.
They look like those battle robots. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, they were putting that on sports channels because they had no sports. The battle bots. Such a weird.
And did you hear that? Like, so these are steam engines.
Yes. So now it's up to Katara to bend water sufficiently. Can she do it?
Who
She
has
makes
just
a
grown
glacier.
so much.
Uh huh.
Bam.
She's taking out tanks left and right.
But there's so many of them.
There's too many. And she's getting kind of thirsty.
Appa for the win.
Did Appa just bowl them over with a belch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're out of bombs.
Come on, Sokka. Where's that war balloon?
Yeah, without Sokka, what would they have done?
Right. Not only did he come up with the war balloon itself, but also the war waged in Stank on behalf of
Then I guess they won't see this coming.
Sokka.
And it was being made for the Fire Nation,
Right.
so they don't attack it.
Exactly. It's got the insignia.
Oh no, that was the last one.
Insignia has 4 syllables.
There! That's where the gas is escaping!
Insignia is 4 syllables. Fun fact.
Just over here on Atla, counting syllables.
It's the only bomb we've got!
The furnace is the only bomb they have. There they go. They push the red button on the Northern Air Temple. Bammo!
And wow.
Right. Wow that the castle still stands. Because perhaps that was something of a gamble.
And this moment is so important. The Fire Nation didn't have control of the skies,
Yeah.
but they had the balloon crashed.
And they're like, oh, it's time for us to...
Now they have that technology.
Yep.
You know what? I'm really glad you guys all live here.
And it's crazy because they would have gotten it anyway. They
It's
would've
like
gotten
the
it.
hermit crab. Maybe you weren't born here, but you found this empty shell and made it your home. And now you protect each other.
That means a lot, coming from you.
That Aang smile.
As long as we've got the skies, we'll have the Fire Nation on the run.
Just like this hermit crab. Or this taxidermy place that used to be a Denny's.
Isn't it so weird how Inventor Dad's face falls and that's what they leave you with? Like,
Right.
The
because
only-
he's like, he knows what they're up against. And trying to defend this modus operandi.
what an episode. The Northern Air Temple.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
La anima manima.
Just let the credits play.
All right. That was a hell of an episode. So what did we learn?
2 things I learned. Number 1, how do you keep a lid on hot air? The answer is simply a lid. The genius of Sokka. Thank
Put
you.
a lid on it.
Put a
Yeah.
lid on it. And 2, how to laugh in the face of gravity. Ha ha ha.
Defying gravity.
Thank you. How about you, AJ? What did you learn?
What did I learn? Let's see. It's almost as if the drive for people to endure can be easily muddled in the human psyche with the drive to subsist. As in, like, you know, humans are so resilient, or like, you know, kingdom residents. Not necessarily calling them humans, but, you know,
Yeah.
this is a very human story. And their need to, you know, survive. Teo's dad's need to, you know,
To keep going.
to keep going and to make a world that his son could be happy in, above all things. Like, can you imagine being so consumed with anything?
Right. What you just said makes me think, like, how good of a job this show does of calling attention to those lines between politics and philosophy and culture. Like, at first, Aang completely distrusts the Airwalkers because of what they've done to a place that was sacred
Right.
to his people,
Right.
but then he sees that there is a system in place that he is not privy to and that they have had to answer to for a long time, and so that sometimes people's circumstances are not indicators of who they are or whether or not they have spirit, right?
Right, exactly, because we are like hermit crabs, you know? We're just inhibiting, you know, the old bones of what people before us built and making life.
Wow. I just feel like we got really deep there.
We did get super philosophical is a big word, is a big mood that I would associate with this episode. Philosophical. Because
sure.
the episode does get that deep if you want it. If you want another Avatar episode with a cool glider chase scene, cool tanks,
You could say, like
You have
Katara,
it.
You got to jump into open air and just trust that it'll catch you with this episode.
You do what trusts fall with fate.
Wow. Okay. Is that enough to leave
Find
you with?
Find yourself at the airy gate.
Thank you. This has been fun. We are, as of recording this episode, at nearly 3,000 episode downloads, which is just like awesome.
Oh, mwah.
And
thank you.
Like, shout out to our locations. I don't know why there's an area in Florida where we've got a bunch of listeners, but thank you for being there.
Florida, what's happening?
What's up? I also see a few citizens of the UK and Canada out there, which is
chip,
cool.
Cheerio.
Glad to see the Avatar has spread to other parts of the world.
Maple syrup.
And yeah, also people in Indianapolis, which is closest to where we are based currently.
Yes, we appreciate the listenership that we have found here at home. We appreciate you guys coming to check out the show.
If you want to follow us, do so.
Just do it. Follow your heart. Listen to your heart. Your heart
Listen
is
to
telling
your
you
heart.
to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and the like.
At ATLA_shrugged.
Atlas Shrugged. I was just thinking the other day how nothing is more millennial than the insistence on the underscores survival. Right?
Yeah, because did you use AIM? Instant Messenger,
AIM,
man.
The underscore ruled AIM.
Truly. What was your AIM name?
Doc Solar.
Oh, duh.
Mm-hmm.
Middlecad 93.
Dr. Solar, if
Hey,
anybody
what's
digs
up?
that. Middlecad.
Middlecad, KAD.
Middlecad. Okay. So that's like you were the middle child.
And like my initials.
KAD.
Yep. 93.
So now
Okay.
you can hack into her Neopets.
Oh my gosh. My Geller is probably like super strong still, so have a ball.